the everyday person, how do we push our minority brands to the forefront? I think I was seeing on Instagram the black lady with the cosmetic. She just broke another $1 million. Well, I think it was Black Friday. She grossed $1 million in like 12 hours, and she just did it again. So, how do we, as everyday people, begin to push our black brands to the forefront and support them?
Black brands don't need us to. I mean, it's fine for us to buy their products, but what they actually need is working capital. They need so she needs the woman that is doing the makeup. Mm-hmm. Yeah. She needs investors that are patient and that will allow her business to grow off of that capital so that they can generate a return to her, both to her and to the investor.
So like the Shark Tank.
Really, it's I'm getting at investing.
Shark Tank, you present an idea and then they invest. They give you that capital.
They invest, and I think because when we think about like just banks and the African American community's relationship with banks, it hasn't been. It's bad. I mean, you can do a quick Google search and discrimination and housing loans and all kind of businesses can't get loans. We do have to figure out how to leverage whatever discretionary income we have to be able to support businesses. But, like, if I really want to support a business, like a restaurant or something, it's not about going to the restaurant. It's about going to the owner and saying, hey, this is what I can give to you to help you get your marketing out or whatever it is you need operationally to get more customers.
The issue is though, whenever we do that, lots of times we get a lot of people to say, well, what do you want back? Or what do you want from this? Mm-hmm. So many times I think a lot of our issue is also that whenever we do say, okay, we want to do something for you, they say, so what are you going to get in it? Mm-hmm. They always want to know, what are you going to get out of this? Mm-hmm. And if we can learn to stop doing that and just say, some people really just want to help, I think that will help us as well.
Yeah. Patrice. Education. They have to be very comfortable in investments and what that looks like, what capital investment looks like, what actually is the difference between someone helping you and someone being a shark and someone being a predator. Right. There's a big difference, and so if they don't know those differences, they can take someone who they really think is genuinely trying to help them. I mean, in the end, they're taking 75% of their revenue, so they need that education to know that, so then they can accept it and they can cut out all the BS when it comes along with it. And that's from the big end. So locally and smaller entrepreneurs that are starting up, I still believe education is key. You really need to know how and what you need to do to get, to become a successful business. It hurts my heart to see businesses come in, start really quickly, and then end just as fast. Yeah. I mean, we just got to figure out how to help them with a business plan, teach them how to be patient, and really go through the steps just like everybody else. I just like to do a plug. We have Black Business Bazaar, August 13th from 11 to 5. Over 90 business owners will be at our facility that will be broadcasting and promoting their businesses.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then also we talk about what works well, too, the She event. Mm-hmm. Katina Washington, shout out to her. She does an awesome job of bringing over 100 black businesses under one roof, and you can shop. I think that is coming up in April. I can't remember the day.
So, April the 8th.
April 8th.
April the 13th. We're on 2 different days.
Yep, so we got the Black Business Bazaar. So both of them, we got the Black Business Bazaar April 13th, and I think we got the She event coming up April 8th. So y'all go out and shop. Yes. Black owned. Yes. We also got a comment. I'm going to get to you, Ebony, real quick. Lauren says there's a young black female in Crown Point, Indiana, who has a black hair line. Miley is sold in Sally's. Yep, and it's also sold in Target, too. So it's a natural hair. It's called Mila, I don't know how they say Mielle. Mielle hair care. I just seen an article on her. But
was it like a pink backdrop?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. She's out of Crown Point, Indiana. Nice. Yep. So one of our listeners who's listening live, interacting with us on the website. If you would like to comment or have a question for our guests, please go to our website, www.letsgothereradioshow.com, and chat live with us. So, Ebony, what are your thoughts on how do we support minorities with brands?
I first wanted to veg you back off of Marshawn's statement about investing. So another now, if you just invest in giving the money cash in hand, that's one investment. But if you're, like you said, if you're buying their stocks, you're investing in stocks, that gives you a voice. That gives you a seat at the table to make choices about that business, but it also gives you an opportunity to protect that business. So if all of us are investing in this business, now we have protected it and formed a hedge of protection over it from any outsiders that might try to do anything to buy it out, shut it down, whatever. Because now I have a voice and I can control this business in a good way, you know. And so, but like Patrice said, we got to be trusting. And like you said, we have to be trusting enough to say that, or even maybe present it in that way. You know, package it that way. Like, this is us helping ourselves and protecting ourselves, you know, in industry. So that's one way, and that's like a phenomenon. I never thought about the investment part, actually protect versus buying, because we do think of buying all the time. Right. Exactly. Because there is actually a business here in Indiana, a black-owned designer who has a business downtown, Jay Benzal. Shout out to Jay Benzal. Makes phenomenal clothing. I mean, his marketing, everything is on point. You may not see him in as far as marketing in the black community. However, he is one of us, you know, and he's doing well. He makes the money, so we don't have to go buy up all his suits.
Right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he probably like that too, but invest in that business to keep him, because he's in downtown, you know, by the Circle Center Mall in a very prominent area. He's also, I think, out in Carmel or Fishers. So imagine if we backed him and invested in his business to keep him there or helped him to expand.
And so for the athletic apparel, shout out to Nate Red Clothing. Ron Williams on Facebook, he has Nate Red Clothing. So for those that are looking for alternative in terms of athletic apparel, that's a black-owned designer here in the city as well. Shout out to Nate Red. I want to go back to the Black Business Bazaar, because what people don't know, Patrice, is that is actually goes back into supporting the programs that you guys do. And that's what's so phenomenal about the Black Business Bazaar is a fundraiser for the community center that's in the community that's servicing our people every day. So make sure you support that. Sean, what are your thoughts on how do we support minorities with brands?
And I've just learned about what Jay Benzal is doing, and I think this is just a different perspective with him having a business that essentially caters to white people and using and they're spending money at his
or business
at his establishment in downtown Indianapolis and Carmel. It would be wonderful if we can get more entities like that that take those dollars from those communities and put it, and then we get behind that person. Like, we invest in your business so you can keep making these products and getting money from their communities, and then recycling that money into our communities as that working capital that you mentioned.
I got a question for you
Yes.
off of that statement. Is it marketed to white people, or is it marketing to people that can afford that brand? Because his suits are very expensive. So is it really marketing to white people, or is it just marketing to people that can afford it, and it just so happens that the people that can afford it the most are white people? So, you know, so it's like, should we ask him, bring your prices down so black folks can support you? You know, right, absolutely not.
But we're going to spend thousands for Gucci. Why can't we go spend
There you go. Because we got it. We got it. We have it. We got it to spend.
It's where you want to spend your money.
It's where you want to spend your money.
Right.
But I think the larger point is, I was reading a book on black banks, and one of the challenges with black banks is if they just focus on African Americans, what ends up happening is because of our income levels, they can't make the money because the money, we keep withdrawing the money, and so they can't make the investments. But if a black bank was in Fishers or Carmel or someplace else, like they put the liquor stores and the other entities in their hair shops, and I'm lead that. Okay, so if we kind of did some of the things that they're doing to us, we would be in a better position.
So it's kind of like this just came to mind. It's kind of like the reverse talent. It's kind of like the reverse talented tip theory. Tip theory.
Yeah.
So it's like we empower the people. Okay, you have this product that serves this community. Okay, now let's leverage that and make sure we keep that working capital within our community. So make sure we hope you're doing business in excellence, and make sure it's integrity and honest, and make sure it's circulated back into our community with your dollars.
And on that note, we're going to go to commercial and pay some more bills. So you're tuned in to Let's Go There with Sassy C and Tia. We are talking about Our Money Matters, Respect the Black Dollar. We're on commercial break.
When you have a growing family, other things in your life start getting bigger too, like your home.
Can't wait for the new jack! What?
And especially your bills.
That'll be $249.86.
Oh.
But with Allstate, the amount you can save is getting bigger too. Because right now, when you bundle coverage for your car, home, motorcycle, and more, you can save up to 30%.
Call Adrian Smiley today at 317-228-0707.
And we are back. So as we head into this last, how many minutes we got left? Oh, okay. Last 45 minutes. We'll probably wrap up early. We're going to tackle this last question that we have, guys, on the list of why do we only boycott for a specific length of time? Why do we only boycott brands for a specific length of time? Anybody want to jump in, James?
Okay, so I brought up this question because this was one of my questions that I want to bring up. To just kind of bring up why I brought up this question is because most artists that I was looking at, especially when it kind of came out, this was their call to action. Number one, stop buying Gucci for the next 3 months. Number two, if you own anything Gucci, do not wear it. This means clothing, handbags, belts, shoes, cologne, and perfume, everything. Number three, share with your network. So 3 months, I felt like really isn't going to do anything. Not at all. And that's, well, yeah. I mean, they may see something, but if we start buying right back, they're just going to be like, okay, well, cool. We're going to catch all the way back up. Possibly. Now, the only other thing that I was thinking is okay, so one thing that I heard, it was saying we can't just boycott, but we need to learn to boycott on black brands. And
that's going to explain that, boycott.
So instead of, we say, okay, we're going to boycott, we're going to stop talking, we're going to stop taking care of these brands, we're going to make some type of boycott. Well, turn around and say, okay, well, instead of not doing this, let's take our money and put it in the black communities, the black brands, the black owners, investing, like how he said, and putting all that into, and start doing that as more of a boycott.
Okay.
So, yeah. And start using that,
That is actually within the literature on like corporate social responsibility and how corporations are acting. That is boycotting as a newer phenomenon. Millennials are really getting into that as a way to respond to boycott. So you don't just do a boycott, but you boycott. Now, the reason why 3 months is important is because I think collectively they're trying to get a measurement on the economic impact of a decision. 3 months is 3 months is what happens when it's a quarter, and that's how you're reporting earnings, doing an earnings call. So if you own that stock, every 3 months they got to get on the phone and tell you either they met expectations or they did not meet expectations, and why. That's why 3 months matters. Okay. Now, I'm actually with Ebony. When Tommy Hilfiger did their thing, I forgot who they were. In fact, I hadn't even been thinking about them until you mentioned them because they just became dead to me. I really think that's where we should be, but because I don't want to go with nobody if you don't want me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So should we put a time limit on it?
Yeah. So should we boycott for just 3 months?
So
it's you be done off the brand.
You should just be done off the brand. Like you took advantage of our dollar, so you don't deserve it, and we're not giving you our dollar anymore. And then see what happens.
And it's making mockery because, I mean, just the mockery alone is like, okay, so now I see you've shown your face, even though, we've been huge consumers of this brand. So, yeah, why even support it all? That's one thing that, I love Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. There's a lot of things I didn't agree with his philosophies and his strategies, but sitting at counters, I have to, of course, respect my elders for putting in the work, for us, but I refuse. I would have been the one that said I'm not sitting at a counter being spat on, hit on. I mean, I know it was for a just cause for looking forward. However, I'm going to just go ahead and start a business. I'm going to help my community know how to be entrepreneurs, take their talents and skills,